everybody, Shannon Petrovich with Therapist Talks. Today's topic is defining addiction. 9 quick questions to ask yourself to see if you might have an addiction. The World Health Organization just last week deemed gaming addiction an official disorder. There are now addictions to alcohol, drugs of all sorts, shopping, gambling, and gaming. How do you know if you have an addiction to something? In this video, we'll explore some of the tools we use to help people know if an issue is a genuine addiction. There's a lot of confusion about definitions of alcoholism and other addiction. People will say, well, I don't use it every day, and sometimes I don't use that much. So how do you know if your drinking or drug use or even gaming or gambling is a problem? One of the old school screening tools is called CAGE. It stands for, have you ever tried to cut down? Are there others who are often annoyed by your use, or do they annoy you by telling you you need to cut down or quit? Number 3 is, do you experience guilt for your use or the things that you do or don't do because of your use? And the last is, do you ever use in the early morning to get rid of a hangover? So some of these fit for all addictions, and some, like the last one, only fits for alcohol or some other drugs. What are the other signs? So here are the real life how-to-knows that you can ask yourself today to understand better what role your using is playing in your life. What it comes down to is compulsivity. That means that the activity is really taking on a life of its own and is becoming compulsive. So this looks like 1, using more than you intended. So you set out to have 1 or 2 and you had 8 or 10. Number 2, you planned to go somewhere or do something and you didn't because you stayed to use more than you had planned, or you couldn't get up the next day, or you started gaming and never stopped. 3, you get into trouble, you pledge to stop, and then you find yourself minimizing, justifying, rationalizing, and continuing on. Number 4, the negative consequences and guilt and shame begin to blend into each other, and eventually you don't really feel anything anymore, and you just keep blazing on without guilt or shame. Number 5, your goals, your aspirations, your plans, your relationships all start to go down the tubes and you don't really care that much. Number 6, you stop taking care of your basic self-care and you don't really notice or care that much. In gaming, I've actually heard young people talk about how they stopped eating, they stopped sleeping, they just continued gaming all night, all day, and not taking care of themselves at all. Number 7, do you use alone, and does it feel compulsive? In other words, driven by something deeper. Number 8, is your addiction more important than anyone or anything else in your life? And number 9, have you let go of your morals and values and all your other I would nevers? Like riding in a vehicle while using or with someone who is loaded, like lying and stealing, having unprotected sex or casual sex, endangering loved ones or ignoring and neglecting loved ones. All those other things that really go against your morals and values and the things that you say I would never do. So those are the basics. We'll dive deeper into specifics of different addictions in the upcoming videos. If you appreciated this video, please hit like and subscribe, and leave comments or suggestions or questions in the comment section below. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.